Good day everyone. I am Diya of class 12 studying in Silver Hills Public School, Calicut. Today I am here to take a small portion from class 12 CBSE Computer Science syllabus. The chapter's name is Computer Networks, and from this chapter there is a small topic about mobile processors, mobile telecommunication technologies. So we all use mobile phones. Have you ever thought what it is like in using mobile phones in 1980s, what were its features? We'll see through all that. So what are the objectives in this? After watching this video, you'll get to know what is mobile telecommunication technologies and what are its features. Then we'll look into mobile processors, some of the major marketing companies which market these processors and their features. So let's get into the video. First is mobile telecommunication technologies. When you look at this name, what do you infer from this? We know what mobile is. What is telecommunication? Telecommunication means we're communicating with someone, or say in this chapter, a device. So we're communicating with it through the help of a network. Say it is wireless connection, especially in this condition where we have pandemic, we use wireless connections. So how do we communicate like that? So that we'll see how it is mobile telecommunication technologies. So I put up a question, that is, first, it is a use of technology that allows us to communicate with others or say any other device in different locations without the use of having a physical connection. So the question is, what are different mobile telecommunication technologies? The answer to this question lies in our generations. What generations? Our mobile phone generations. Have you heard of 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G? These are the generations of our mobile phones. So we'll look into each of the features. So before getting into the features, let us find out by analyzing the pictures. So first I'll start with the 4G technology. So in this 4G technology, these are mobile phones we use now. We all use this 4G mobile phone, most of us. And we get all of the features in it. What all we are doing in our desktop, laptops, we can do it in this mobile phone. Now coming back, that is a 3G technology, that is a third generation technology. In third generation technology, we got all the features which was there in 4G, but the problem was it wasn't that faster and better as 4G technology. Now I'm coming to 1G technology. 1G means first generation technology. In 1G technology, just by looking at this, we don't have any screen. Like when we're comparing with 4G technology, we don't have any screen in 1G technology. See, it's completely of dial pads. That means it was used for having voice calls. Nothing like video conferencing, video games you play these days in our 4G mobile phones. That wasn't possible in 1G technology. So only voice calls. That was the purpose of 1G technology, the first generation technology. 2G means we can have a small screen there. That means we can send text messages, we can capture pictures, have audio files. So 2G is a better version of 1G. Now there was a gap between 2G and 3G because there were many features in 3G which wasn't there in 2G technology. Now we'll look into each of the features. The first one is our 1G technology. 1G technology is the first mobile phone which was introduced in 1980s. So this is the first mobile phone, and people in 1980s used this first generation mobile phones. Now it is an analog cellular system. That means it was completely based on cellular system. Now we have radios and digital systems. And the transmission was in voice data. What is transmission? Transmission means we have a sender and a receiver, that data has been transmitted. That sending is called as transmission. So transmission was of voice data. And this 1G technology was purely for voice calls. We have seen from the picture that it was only having the dial pad. We didn't have any screens. It means we can't have any text messages. So it was completely for voice calls. Now we will see examples of 1G technology. We have AMPS and TACS. AMPS is an American based company, while TACS is a European company. Now AMPS is Advanced Mobile Phone Services and TACS is Total Access Communication Services. Now other features of 1G technology is it uses analog signals. So we saw that it is a completely analog based system, so it uses analog signals, and data rate was only 2.4 kbps. Now we use gbps, mbps. In those days, that is in 1980s, it was 2.4 kbps. And even though we can have voice calls, the quality of our voice calls were very poor. That is just, it had poor voice quality, and we didn't have security. And it does not support transmission of text messages. We have seen that it doesn't have any screen. That means we can't have any text messages. Only voice calls were possible. And there wasn't any data services. The only purpose of 1G mobile phones in the 1980s was to have voice calls. Now came 2G technology, which was a much better version of 1G technology. We'll see what all were its features. 2G is the first digital cellular system. 1G is the first analog cellular system, while 2G is the first digital cellular system, which was introduced in 1990s. The data services were provided for mobile phones, and SMS feature were introduced. SMS feature, of course, we have seen pictures of 2G technology for mobile phones. It had screen, that means we can send SMS, text messages, and high data transmission rate. The transmission rate of 1G technology was 2.4 Kbps. We will see what the speed of 2G technology is. And then transmission of data such as text messages were possible, and it was sent in digital format. Example is DAMPS, GSM and GPRS. AMPS we learnt in 1G technology, right? Advanced Mobile Phone Services. Now we have D in front of it. D stands for digital. So Digital Advanced Mobile Phone Services. GSM means Global Service of Mobile Communication, and GPRS is General Packet Radio Signals. So these were examples of 2G technology. Other features of 2G technology is we had improved sound quality. Right, in 1G technology the voice quality were very poor. In 2G we had improved sound quality or voice quality, and higher data rates. It was 64 Kbps. In 1G it was 2.4 Kbps. In 2G we have 64 Kbps. Now we have improved security in 2G technology. There was a feature called CDMA which was introduced by Qualcomm in 1990s. This CDMA is code division multiplexes. Now this means, imagine if I am a sender and you are the receiver. So if I am sending a text message, see if I am sending a message like hi, now this message is sent to you as a form of a code, and when it reaches to you, the code decodes and you get the text message. That means we have a security. Now that wasn't provided in 1G technology, but from 2G technology onwards we have improved security. And support transfer of picture messages, right? You can send picture messages, but not like now we can send like 15 messages, 15 picture messages, 30 messages, but in 2G technology there was a limit, that was only a picture was being able to send. And MMS means multimedia services. That means you can send audio files, picture files, text messages. What about video files? 2G doesn't support transfer of complex data such as video messages. Nowadays 4G doesn't consider videos as complex data, but in those days 2G considered videos as complex data, but we can send videos which had the duration that is up to 40 seconds. So up to 40-second videos we can send, but after that it was considered as complex data and we can't send those. Next is 3G technology. Now before going into 3G technology, I'll say that there was a generation gap. What is like generation gap? We usually say like in terms of years, the very long year gap. But in this case from 2G to 3G, there was a development gap. That technological wise there was a huge gap because there were many features which was introduced in 3G technology which wasn't there in 2G and 1G technologies. We'll see what were there. First of all, it was introduced in the year 2000. And we have higher data rates. In 1G it was 2.4 Kbps, in 2G it was 64 Kbps, now we have 144 Kbps to 2 Mbps. And we have more efficient ways of carrying the data. And then 3G technology provided faster web services. So internet connection was there in 3G technology. And examples is CDMA 2000. We learned what CDMA is, code division multiple access. 2000 because it was introduced in the year 2000. And WCDMA, W is wideband code division multiple access. Now we look at what are other features of 3G technology. We can have live chat, fast downloading, video conferencing, then we can play mobile phone games. Now in 2G technology we can play mobile phone games, but it was of 2D games. From 3G onwards we can play 3D games, real life simulating games. Now user can see live streaming in high quality videos. User can send and receive large email messages. We just learned in 2G technology this SMS thing was there, that means we can send and receive text messages, but again the word limit was there. In 2G technology, we can't send email messages, but in 3G technology, we can send and receive large files, text files, email messages, etc. And it provides broadband internet services. Now, what is broadband? If we have high quality bandwidth frequency, then using internet connection, we can send and receive or transmit data. So, it provides broadband internet services. Now, coming to 4G technology, it is a better version of 3G technology. That means, now here we studied that it provides high quality broadband internet services. Now, in 4G technology, we have ultra high broadband internet services, and two key points that why 4G is better than 3G was because it is faster and better, and data speed was 100 Mbps to 1 Gbps. Now, we started from 2.4 kbps in 1G technology. Now, in 4G technology, it is 100 Mbps to 1 Gbps. Now, it is also used for internet access on computers. That means it is totally wireless. 4G technology is totally wireless. Now, other features of 4G technology is anytime, anywhere. In ads of internet connections, we see that they say we can receive or send data and text messages anytime, anywhere. That means wherever you have cellular network, and if your phone is 4G technology, then you can receive, send, watch high quality videos, you can live stream anywhere and anytime. So, this feature was there in 4G technology, and there were more data capacity for richer content, and we can have more connections in 4G technology. Also, 4G rules the mobile market, but before coming into this point, I will also say one more feature about 4G technology, which is magic. Now, magic is a feature for 4G technology, and what does magic stands for? M means mobile multimedia. We just learned what is MMS, that is mobile multimedia services, and A, anytime anywhere feature, and G, global mobility support, that is you can receive, send text, you can receive, send and watch videos wherever you are. If you have 4G technology, integrated wireless solution, we learned that 4G is completely wireless, and customized personal services were provided by 4G technology. Now, I will come back to the point that 4G rules the mobile market, but this is not going to last long because we have our 5G technology, which is 5th generation technology, which is currently under development. But if 5G comes into play, then 5G will rule the mobile market, because it is expected to be a milestone in the success of M2M and IoT. Now, what is M2M and IoT? M2M means machine to machine. That is, we can connect from machine to another machine. Say mobile to another mobile, mobile to laptop, mobile to your car. So, that technology will be brought up by our 5G technology. And what is IoT? IoT is Internet of Things. That is, you can send data, services, all these are provided by internet connection. So, this was a feature of 5G technology. So, we can have direct communication between devices. It can be both wired and wireless, and data transfer was in Gbps. Now, our 4G was Mbps to Gbps. Now, in 5G technology, it is completely in Gbps. That means it is much faster than 4G technology, and is expected to be able to support connected vehicles. That is, you can connect vehicle to another vehicle. Now, other features of 5G technology is you can have faster, smooth and more realistic videos. Even if you are watching high quality videos now, it will be much better if you are using 5G technology. And we can have the ability to connect multiple smart devices to the same router. So, you have a router. What is router? It is if you have a 5G modems, right? Now, modem means you can connect it to any devices if you have internet connection in that modem. So, that is a router. Now, this router, if you can connect it to your mobile phone, and the same router you can connect to your smart TV, your smart watches, your smart refrigerators, all these can be connected with the same router if you are using 5G technology. And it opens a way for smart transportation machinery. That means if you have a highway, and in that highway your vehicle will be connected to another vehicle, your vehicle can detect crowd. 5G technology has a capability to detect fire. So, all these features will be provided in 5G technology. And now we have smart watches, smartphones, smart cameras, smart TVs. If 5G comes, we can have smart highways where all vehicles along with signals, speed cameras, everything will be connected with the help of internet if we have 5G technology. Now with this, I end my session about mobile telecommunication technologies. So we learned about mobile telecommunication, what is telecommunication, and we learned what are the features of these technologies. We learned about 1G technology, 4G technology, 3G, 4G and 5G, which is under development. Now I am coming into mobile processors. We learned about mobile telecommunication technologies, but what is mobile, how is mobile working? For this we need processors. Now just split the word mobile and processors. We know what mobile is, what is processors, what comes to your mind when I say processors, right? The brain of the computer, CPU. Just like that, we have brain of our mobile phones, which is mobile processors. Now why do we need processors? Why are we learning about this? Because the processor is responsible, or it controls all these systems in your mobile phone. Say your display subsystem, if you are using 4G or 3G, you have your touch screen, and when you are touching it, it responds to your touch. Why? Because it is having a special connection with your processor which responds to your task. And then we have camera unit, storage, memory, audio, radio and your power management. All this is being controlled by your processors. Now what is there inside this processor? Just like in CPU you have CU, ALU and MU. Just like that in mobile processors we have application processing unit, graphics processing unit and communication processing unit. Now what is applications processing unit or APU? This is just like CU in your computer. It does all the tasks. It takes the task from the user and asks the mobile phone to do it. Now if you touch an application and that application opens up for you, that is done by your APU. Now GPU, you're having your video games, you're watching high quality streaming videos. Now say thanks to your GPU, because that is responsible for all these graphics. And communication processing unit, we just learned the telecommunication, that is being controlled by a communication processing unit. So all these features is there inside your processor. So I'll say how efficient your processor is, that much efficient will be your mobile phone. So how to know how efficient is your processor? We'll look into that. First of all, what does processors do? It runs an application and do tasks. What is OS? Operating system. So processors provide necessary resources to the operating system. It runs applications and do certain tasks which the user asks the device to do it. And then how to find your processor is efficient or not? When you're buying a mobile phone or say desktop, you can find like it is quad core, hexa core. What is all this? What is core? Core means, say if you're giving a task and the time taken for your device to respond to your task is the time duration is being controlled by your cores. Then why we need like dual core, quad core, hexa core? Why just not one core? Earlier it was only single core, but now we have till octa core or deca cores. So why that? Say for example hexa core. Hexa core means there will be 6 cores. That means into 6 faster will be your processor. So this core, how efficient your core is, that much efficient will be your processor, and how efficient your processor is, that much efficient will be your device, be it a mobile phone or your desktops. Now earlier it was in single core, now we have dual core, quad core, octa core and deca core. And earlier it was in 32-bit processors, now we have 64-bit processors, and the processing speed of most of the processors is 3.0 to 3.5 gigahertz, and these processors nowadays make our device more power efficient. Now there are some major companies which market these processors. So we'll look at a few of them. First one is Qualcomm Snapdragon. When did I say about Qualcomm first? When I introduced about 2G technology, I said Qualcomm introduced a CDMA technology in 1990s, right? So Qualcomm it came into this mobile market when they introduced a CDMA technology. It is a US based company, and Qualcomm is now known for its Snapdragon brand. Now Snapdragon is responsible for marketing these processors and LTE modems, which is a 5G. But when did Snapdragon came into play? When it introduced the first 1 GHz processor, when the average speed of most of the processors were just 512 Mbps, it introduced the first 1 GHz processor. And there are many series of processors which were manufactured by these Qualcomm Snapdragon, say S200, S400, S800 series. Now S888 is its latest version. Now coming up next is Apple mobile processors. I have like 2 slides about Apple mobile processors, but my first point is Apple does not manufacture processors. Yes, Apple doesn't manufacture processors. Then what does it do? It contracts with, it kept a contract with Samsung Electronics and TSMC. TSMC is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation. But later, recently, Apple stopped its contract with Samsung Electronics, and now TSMC is its sole supplier. Now Apple again has a lot of series for Apple appliances, be it smartwatches, Apple TV, AirPods. Different devices have different processors. We'll look at each of them. Now Apple A series is usually used for your iPhones, smart TVs, smart devices. They use Apple A series. Now again Apple A series again like developing. Now the latest one is Apple A14 Bionic. We also have Apple 12 Bionic, Apple 13 Bionic. Now we'll look at Apple A14 Bionic, which is its latest version. So what are its features? It is hexa-core, means there is 6 cores, which means it will be fast. 2.99 GHz is its data transmission speed. And it has core GPU. We just learned what GPU is, that is graphical processing unit. So it has core GPU, that means if you have this Apple A14 Bionic in your devices, Apple A14 Bionic processors in your devices, you can have high quality videos and your video games will be of high quality. That's it thanks to the GPU. Then these are other series of Apple processors. Now Apple S is used for Apple watches. It is manufactured by Foxconn company, and again watches they use Apple W series processors, and Apple W series also used for headphones. Now coming to headphones, Apple H series processor is also used for headphones. Headphones like it was used for AirPods earlier, but now for power beats they use Apple H series processors. These are headphones that support Bluetooth 5.0, which has Apple H series processors. Now come to MacBooks. Now Apple T series and Apple M series. Your MacBook will be either Apple T series or Apple M series processors, and they are designed by TSMC, because why? Apple doesn't provide processors. They are being manufactured by TSMC or companies like Foxconn, Samsung, but now they stopped their contract with Samsung Technologies. Next is Intel Atom and Core i processors. Why the name Atom? Why? Because Atom is low power consuming and low cost. So Atom processors, which is of Intel, it is low power consuming and low of cost. And first it used to only support a Windows, but now it supports a major mobile operating system, most of them. And the latest versions by Intel Atom, they have reduced power consumption. That means it only uses 5 watts, which is ideal for your mobile devices. Now, before coming to this x86 architecture, what is this architecture? We have again coming up ARM architecture. So what is x86 ARM architecture, all these? So they are like a family of reduced instruction computing processors which are used for computer devices. So Intel Atom, they use x86 architecture. Again Intel Atom processors, they are of 64-bit, which is like ideal for these days processors. Earlier it was 32-bit, now it is 64-bit. Quad core means it has 4 cores, and the speed for data transmission is 1.6 GHz to 2.4 GHz. Other Intel Atom processors is Intel Core i9. This again, if you are having your ultra thin notebooks and mobile devices and 2-in-1 convertibles, I will say go for Intel Core i9. Why? Because it is ultra low voltage processor. And why? Because it has 4.5 watts. It only uses 4.5 watts, means you can have a long life battery. And 8 core. 8 core means you can have octa core, which will be super fast. And the speed is of 1.5 GHz to 3.2 GHz, which is the transmission rate will be very high. And again it is designed for your ultra thin notebooks, mobile devices and 2-in-1 convertibles. So this is an example for Intel Core i9. And then we have Intel Core M processor. This is an example for Intel Core M series. It offers the users 40% boost your CPUs and GPUs. Now we learned what CPU is, that is the central processing unit for your desktops. Now GPU is for your mobile phones, which is graphics processing unit, so they provide 40% more boost to it. Next we have our NVIDIA Tegra. Now this processor is specialized for your graphical system, that is gaming units, and then commercial robots, medical instruments, and smart cameras, smartphones. They use NVIDIA provides processors for these devices, and it is built on 64-bit ARM architecture. Now I said what ARM is when I said about x86 architecture, which was used by Intel processors. Now if we compare x86 to ARM architecture, x86 is better than ARM architecture, but x86 is more power consuming than ARM architecture. So now NVIDIA is built on 64-bit ARM architecture, and Jetson Xavier NX is its latest processor, which is again of octa-core processors. Next we have MediaTek. MediaTek provides chips, which is again manufactured by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, and they provide these processors for mobile devices, HD TVs, and other electronics. Again, MediaTek, just like NVIDIA Tegra, it is of 64-bit ARM architecture, and it provides data transmission speed is 2.2 GHz speed. And advantage of MediaTek is that they provide various core processors, that is you can have dual core, quad core, hexa core, and even deca core processors are being manufactured by MediaTek. Now we have, these are some of the major processors manufactured by MediaTek. Some are Helio A25, Helio P95, and Helio G95. And in these, Helio A95 and Helio P95 are for your picture quality. If you are concentrating on that, then go for Helio A25 or P95 because they provide high quality pictures. Now Helio G95 is usually for gaming phones. Now they are like the consumers. China is their consumer, and Chinese companies like for mobile phones we have Xiaomi, Motorola, etc. They use MediaTek processors, and tablets like Acer, Lenovo, Asus, they use MediaTek processors. Now coming to next is HiSilicon. HiSilicon is again a Chinese company. So now MediaTek, also HiSilicon is Chinese company, and it is owned by Huawei. And it's the largest domestic integrated circuit in China, and Kirin 990, which is again 64-bit ARM architecture, is provided by HiSilicon. Next is quad core, that means it's 4 cores are there, and the data transmission speed is 2.4 GHz, and these are the examples of HiSilicon processors. Next and last is Samsung Exynos. Now Exynos 180 is the latest 5G processor. So Samsung mainly now these days they provide 5G processors, and their core, it's octa-core, and again it is 64-bit ARM architecture. The speed is 2.0 GHz. And another one is Exynos 990, which is again dual core and AL enabled. What is AL? AL means access list. Access list means it is a list of permissions for your IT security. So it is AL enabled 5G mobile processors, which is used in Samsung Note S20, S20 Plus, S20 series. Also in Galaxy Note 20, in Note 20 Ultra, they use Samsung Exynos 990 processors. Now with this I sum up my video, and in summary we first learnt about mobile telecommunication technologies, what are they, why we need this telecommunication, and we then looked at what are different types of telecommunication technologies. We looked at 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. Now summing up their features, we learned that in 1G it was purely for voice calls. In 2G we can have send SMS text messages. In 3G and 4G we can have live conferencing and video games. All these were other features in 3G and 4G technology, and 4G is much better than 3G because it is faster and better. And in 4G technology we have the features called magic, and 4G rules the mobile market. Then we learnt about 5G and what all features will be provided by 5G when it comes into the mobile market. Then we learned about mobile processors, why we need processors, and what is cores, what are different types of cores. And then we looked at Qualcomm Snapdragon. We then looked at our NVIDIA, Intel Atom, MediaTek, and then we looked at HiSilicon, Apple processors, which doesn't manufacture processors, but it has a contract with Samsung and TSMC, but now it is not having any contract with Samsung. So, TSMC is the sole supplier now. Then we looked at Samsung Exynos, that is Samsung Electronics and their processors. With this, I sum up my session, and that's all about this mobile telecommunication technologies and mobile processors. Hope you all liked it. Thank you.